They're 2 games down so far. That means we got 1 match left tonight. That's going to be us going the distance with CLG Black facing off against TSM Darkness. I know, very original post names to both these teams.
Here's a look at their team comps from last night. You can see there was actually a really good double AD carry composition here for Team SoloMid Darkness. They picked an AP top laner. They picked 2 disengage champions in the jungle and support role.
Specify actually, these are backwards. CLG Black, West Think Card, Easy, Stixay, and ICanEU. I will say, yes, I do like their team comp, right? AP top laner, a lot of disengage power. This is almost exactly what CLG Prime ran when they ran a double AD comp, by the way. A lot of similar champions in these roles. TSM Darkness, they did run a very interesting team composition, right? Xerath, Zingy on Vi, Teaser in the top lane. Not normally a top laner, by the way, but still managed to make it work. Yeah,
Teaser's actually their AD carry, who was forced to play top lane when big ol' Ron, their top laner, was having internet issues. But they ended up with a pretty good game for themselves using their old AD carry, Jackstar, to fill that role.
All right, so let's check out how the final score ended up going in this game. Honestly, a lot of very big performances. Arc second, the mid laner from TSM Darkness, went off on Xerath, 8-0-8, a freaking million minion kills as well, and just all the gold.
Yeah, there was an early lead for CLG Black. They were camping Teaser in the top lane on a role that he wasn't really familiar with in a competitive setting, and they threw him off his game, but then they ended up taking some desperation fights, a Baron that didn't work out in their way, and they couldn't reach Arc second at all that game, and he was just this enormous Xerath who was CSing and showing up to the fights huge. 10 CS per minute on that champion, did a really good job. But they do have to rely on Think Card for CLGB in this game. He's actually in the CLG house, so he's getting a lot of kind of proximity training from being around those guys. He really enjoys it there, and that's the type of shot calling that CLB needs to bring, is that shot calling that's going to close out a lead once they get it early.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can do that. But the team I do want to talk about a bit more, though, is TSM Darkness. They actually almost didn't make it into the Spring Challenger Series. They actually lost to Cloud9 Tempest in the final qualifier round, but, of course, they replaced C9T when it was determined that those guys used an illegal substitute in that final match. So TSM Darkness, formerly known as Team Confound, I had seen many people say that they almost didn't deserve to be there. They looked like a bad team, but so far they're starting out the series 1-0.
Well, yeah, a lot of people would jump to conclusion to say they're a bad team when you lose 2-0 to a squad that's using a substitute that isn't even on their roster, right? And TSD, they are capitalizing, though, on their inclusion so far. Zingy, he's the master tactician. We keep talking about him in the jungle. He's acted as sort of a challenger gatekeeper over the past few seasons. It'll be interesting to see how far this team will go and how they'll fare when Big Ol' Ron is back in that top lane. Because the fact that it was a top laner you weren't prepared to deal with could have been a wrench in the plans.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to see how well Zingy did do, by the way. 16 KD on that last game. You guys might know him as the famous Fiddlesticks jungler. He pulled 3 jungle bans. Fiddle, Pantheon, J4, still crushed on Vi. So far, TSM Darkness do look good.
He's playing a lot of meta things now, too. Like, his Karthus is still really high up there on what he plays, but he also plays meta things now. He's got the J4 in his pool, his Vi. He's not afraid to whip those out. And they threw, like you said, the bans at him like Fiddlesticks Pantheon. He's like, okay, I've got better junglers, more meta things available to me that I can still play.
I mean, that just allows him to play more styles. Again, he's going to be better at the carry mage style, but being able to play tank engage is still a good thing to have from the jungle role. It opens up your team comps. Now, on CLG Black's side, they've got a lot of veterans as well. ICanEU is now playing support for them. He's played like every role ever. He played top lane, he played AD carry. You guys also, we talked about him a little bit before, Think Card in the CLG house. He subbed for CLG in their final week of games in the LCS. Also, former Complexity top laner West Rice is there. So there's a lot of familiar faces, but guys who have had only moderate success overall in their LCS careers.
Yeah, and ICanEU, though, he was in the Challenger Series for a bit. He is currently the North American Collegiate Championship top laner, who ended up with that honor last year. But moving to support role, kind of stepping down from shot calling, I want to see if he's okay with taking a side role to Think Card.
Yeah, well, we'll see that ends up being the case. The Think Card and Zingy match was actually one we want to talk about quite a bit. These 2 junglers, I think, have a lot going for them. They're 2 pretty hotly anticipated players, I think. Think Card, even though they did lose all 4 games they played when he subbed for CLG way back in summer of 2014, he got first blood for them like every single time. So he can make those early ganks happen.
Yeah, and you can see there, Azingi, TSM Darkness. Of course, he's completely dark too.
Why wouldn't you be?
You can't see him because he's always fiddlesticks ulting from great vision control. He knows how to play from behind and control vision. That is his big, like, selling point. When you play fiddlesticks, you're always like, where's the vision around me? Sweep everything, pink ward this, and sit there and know that they don't know where you're sitting. It's like, I have this engage free whenever I want to take it, whenever I see them go too far forward. So that is the Master Tactician at work. And you can see there that 16 KDA speaks for itself from last game.
Right. So Zingy, of course, standing on a pink ward when we tried to get his picture. Just got brushed. That was it. Nothing there at all. He's Lust Boy Jr. in this one. So it is going to be a pretty close match, though. CLG Black did have a lot of hype behind them when they joined the Challenger Series, but TSM Darkness so far making a good name for themselves. TSM 2-0 against CLG overall in the past 6 days.
Man, it's like when your older brother does something and has a rivalry with somebody and you just kind of inherit it down. You're just like, I never did anything to that guy. Why are we enemies? Oh, I guess we're enemies now. Just because our brothers don't like each other.
You got to keep it going. The little brothers of both teams now showing up. Callista not allowed for Stixay, and no one is surprised at all that Azingi's not getting fiddlesticks.
Yeah, that's probably going to be banned against him every single time.
We said that about Jace with Kyle.
I mean, he didn't pick it, though.
I know.
He didn't pick it, though. Azingi would probably jump on top of that fiddlestick so quickly, make your head spin. Faster than the Crow Storm. Which does have a good wind up to it.
Would my head spin in a Crow Storm?
It would be taken off by the crows, and then they'd spin around in a circle. We're getting very...
The crows would spin.
They would spin your head. All right, anyway.
Okay. Why not?
Just making it as terrible as possible.
Yeah, you didn't
do... Crow Storm.
Leave the references to me.
No, I'm just saying the Crow Storm is very deadly. It's really,
it is.
really bad to stand inside of that thing.
Have you seen the movie The Birds? It's pretty old, but it's about birds that...
That's what Fiddlestick's based off of. He's really Alfred Hitchcock inside of that.
Uh-huh. Well,
he's on some stilts.
He is indeed. But Morgana, Ari, Callista, the overall bans from TSM Darkness, removing a little bit from every single lane to a certain extent. CLG Black getting Big Ol' Ron's Aurelia away, but plenty more he can play, of course.
Is it Big Ol' Ron's or is it Teaser's Aurelia that they're afraid of? That's what
true.
They played against yesterday, and he had an amazing performance, 10-4 and 10 on that champion. So this last ban, I would assume it would be Lissandra, but they're going to go with the Jarvan there and take another jungler away from Azingi.
All right, so twice in a row now, Azingi loses his Fiddlesticks and his Jarvan. They decided the Pantheon ban wasn't worth it. I agree. I'm surprised that CLG Black had banned that in their game 1 of the series that started yesterday. Kassadin first pick, though, is going to come in for TSD. CLG Black already know they want Vi and Lissandra.
Yeah, they want to go with a dive composition here. They want to get to that back line. They struggled yesterday with getting to Arc second when he was on a Xerath. This is a flex pick for the top lane. This could be a Kassadin that goes up there, or they could wait and lock in something like a Xerath for Arc second here. Either way, they're going to have ways to get to this Kassadin, whether he likes it or not.
Well, Siverjana picked up right away. We saw that lane comp many times. We saw it earlier today by Fusion, and they won their lane, and they won the game pretty handedly here. And being Sivir against Vi tends to make you happy. You can easily spell shield the ulti, and Kassadin also a great Zhonya's champion. There's actually no great targets for Think Cards Vi so far in Champ Select.
Yeah, the Kassadin will drag him backwards. Maybe you can go for the Janna. We saw Trashy do it. It's not ideal.
No.
Really, it's always usually a bad idea to go for the Janna because you end up behind him.
Yeah.
After the assault and battery, and they just Rs and you're separated.
Yeah. It's also very telegraphed, meaning you can exhaust pretty cleanly. Like you take damage on the end of the R, so you've got a very big one to be like, yes, I am getting targeted. Yes, okay, I will exhaust you and make sure, and then Vi no longer one-shots you. So life gets easier.
Usually always exhaust.
You got me back. That's fair. Graves and Thresh, though, the pickup. I like this pretty nicely. If you land a hook on Janna, her life is going to be pain. See if CLG can do that. Threshes usually always land hooks, so maybe he's going to have a good time knocking her down.
So I want to see him on this playmaker, though. Thresh is something that he loves in solo queue at the moment because it allows him to make plays. We saw him on a Janna previously. It's not as big of a playmaker. It's a little more subtle behind-the-scenes type of playmaker. Sometimes you have the flash, like, flash shield! Boom, made the play. Great, right? Now he gets to be a little flashier with his engages.
How can he be flashier than Flash Shield? It's already in the name.
Flash hook. Boom.
That's just as flashy.
I know.
It's literally as flashy.
Everybody flashes at the same time, and a hook comes through.
That's very flashy. That's 5 flashes in a row. But Pantheon is looking like the champion that Azingi will play after all, so I guess CLG Black had banned it in Game 1 for good reason. We'll have to see how effective that champion is. Gnar in the top lane for Big Ol' Ron does mean it's going to be casted in mid, but CLG Black have the ability to flex pick that Lissandra top or mid themselves and pick the matchup they want.
Yeah, when we saw the Pantheon for Zingy last Challenger, didn't fare too well on it. He had, I think, actually a very poor matchup for him. And he ended up with a terrible KDA. So it's not something that he's seen success on in team play. And Pantheon is not the most meta of junglers at the moment.
Sure.
He's like 4th or 5th down the line. Maybe even a little lower now.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put him that high as far as common picks go. But, I mean, that's what I will always say about meta picks, though, is it's always changing.
Yep.
Janna wasn't meta till Season 4 Worlds. Then she became the #1 support because people realized that she was good. So you've always got to keep that in mind, that because it's unconventional. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I'm personally, for what it's worth, not a big fan of Pantheon, but we'll see.
It's worth nothing anyway.
Sorry?
Nothing. So we're going to see this last lock-in here. It's going to be the Rumble coming in. So it is going to be a mid lane Lissandra.
Okay.
Or Easy.
So that is our second Lissandra vs. Cassidy matchup of the night as well. We're seeing a lot of deja vu in the team comps today. A lot of team fight power for CLG Black. A lot of upfront burst. Rumble, Lissandra, Vi, Graves can really knock people down. Thresh there for some extra pick power as well.
Yep. It is the pick mid-game fight team composition here for CLG Black. They want to get out of the laning phase with a slight lead, get towards those team fights, and just destroy them. TSM Darkness, on the other hand, they're a little all over the place.
They got the ability to pick fights real well.
Yeah, they can pick their fight, but you have to make sure that a Zingy is ulting in the right place.
It's interesting because there's multiple sort of short windows. So the whole Kassadin, Sivir, Janna thing means we can pick to go in, pick to go out pretty cleanly. But of course, Gnar has windows of opportunity, right? Big Gnar, little Gnar getting tired, that matters a whole lot. If you do see it coming, though, you can follow up on Pantheon so easily.
Yes.
Pantheon, as long as you aim it fairly well, you have a pretty reliable slow, a pretty reliable engage, because you can funnel them into the right spot. And then Gnar follows up, Sivir ult follows up, right? Like, the fights can start very explosively. Both these teams have pretty good ways of engaging. So it leads me to believe that vision control means more than the typical game, because you can explode people.
Yep, but that's usually where Zingy thrives. So we're going to have to see if CLG Black can be on top of their vision control this game. Because I usually chalk it up to Zingy being on top of it.
Yeah, or we'll see if TSM can live up to their name and create darkness.
Or it'll be CLG Black making all of the map exactly that.
It's kind of gray in Fog of War.
But it's black.
It's not, though.
It's a shade of black.
That's not a thing.
It's like 50 of them in this map.
Welcome to SoloMid.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
It's actually Chinese New Year. So happy Chinese New Year.
True.
Valentine's Day. 4 days later, happy Valentine's Day. You walk in with some chocolates. What? I didn't forget.
I was better than that. My chocolates came on time.
Oh.
Thank you, 2-day shipping from Amazon.
Challenger Series brought to you by... No.
Our friends at Buying Chocolate for Valentine's Day. CLG Black, ICanEU, though, on top of a ward, goes for his own little aggressive ward. Indivisible, though, starting the game with some bonus cash dollars. Oh, right, yeah, it's Blood Moon Thresh. He's got, like, that cool sound when he recalls.
Some kabuki theater up in that bush.
Next time a Thresh recalls, I want to hear the whole recall animation. Dear observers, please, thank you. And next time Lulu Wave clears, you know what to do.
You will be receiving a box of chocolates from Freak in 2 days.
It's definitely not happening. No more chocolates for a year.
For a year? Oh, man. What about Halloween?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's different types of candy that come up for Halloween.
Instead of chocolates? You go with
it's not like pure chocolates, right? You get like things with nuts in them.
Caramelized sugar.
Yeah. All right, 155. Jungle has spawned a Zingy on Pantheon, starting top side. Think card also top side with Vi. Lane swap situation. Now, TSD are going to do the Krugs in the bottom side, whereas the Freeze is starting for CLG Black. So, very different openings. Want to see how they go.
Yep, and look at that, though. Stixay pushing the top lane. So, ICanEU gets to bully a Zingy out in his own jungle.
That's very smart. You can see how far back Big Ol' Ron is playing right now, though Gnar, one of the safer 1v1s, but with Kenny threatening coming back in, it does force Gnar back. It is a freeze, by the way, so very little is going to be gained by BigLaurent in this lane. So far, wow, that was slick.
But that's the thing, is that's going to cause the wave to push even more towards Stixxay.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how much golden XP can you acquire and what are you willing to give away. His trinket is back up, meaning he could spot Thresh roaming around. Zingy will be safely grabbing his own red. I think his blue is not being stolen just yet by ThinkCard.
No, it's completely safe.
I think there was a chance for a 3 buff, though.
Yeah, Kenny didn't ward it. Kenny didn't do anything to it. He just pushed him away and made sure that Zingy wasn't going to do that blue. So Pantheon, not as happy as he could be. And it'll also make it so that he can't have that first gank because he won't have a full rotation available in his spells. They do see Indivisible has rotated up to the top wave.
You can see, yeah, he puts a bot ward, or sorry, a purchased ward into that top lane Tribe Rush, so we'll be able to watch a lot of the potential ganks by ThinkCard. In fact, that ward right there on the river is going to see that he took the Scuttler in the mid lane. They know he's topside, which means they know Sivir is safe, and they're going to have Pantheon come in, and being on the sort of strong side of the map is able to steal away the blue buff. So good wards by Indivisible, I believe, to make that blue buff steal possible.
Yeah, they also know that Zingy is there because he walked through those river wards. So they have the information here. Can't really do anything about it from Westrice's side. He's still underneath his turret, just kind of relegated to farming.
You know what's crazy is the reason he's even able to steal away from Westrice is because this lane is pushed by Teaser. Westrice cannot give away this level and a half worth of experience. If it were Frozen, he'd contest blue buff and he'd screw up his Zingy.
You'd walk straight up there, but it's on Teaser to shove that wave up and keep the pressure on.
So you're seeing a lot of things that... It is one of the things that really interests me about League of Legends is you see things sort of passive, right? Like, Zingy is allowed to take this buff, whatever. But the reason no one's trying is because of another play his team made that results in inaction. It's
a microcosm with, like, a weird butterfly effect.
Exactly, yeah.
Where it's like, I took one minion in this wave, and then the minion slowly, over time, shoves out. And you're just like, wow.
Which means something else must be done.
1 minute later, that wave is something you have to deal with, right?
Yep.
So those types of things, somebody shoving their attention is on that person. Just really interesting to watch.
This is actually one of the more decent 2-on-2s. We talked about this in the previous game about 2-on-2s that are good, 2-on-2s that are bad. Having an AD top laner to put Janna with, much better than someone like a Vladimir. So these guys are actually able to fight back. You're seeing BigLaurent actually holding a minion lead over Westrice because of the fact that he's able to sit in this lane. And I do expect him to actually be able to hold decently this sort of newfound TSD duo lane.
Didn't clear it. So ThinkCard will actually get the timer on both blues. See if that ends up with anything for them.
Zingy clears his own. Says, okay, yep, my blue is gone after all.
Yeah,
Had to expect it.
These junglers are farming in this 2-on-2 more so than trying to affect the side waves, because nothing's really getting pushed in that they could capitalize off of without ward coverage. Whereas if you watch it like NME, you see the ward coverage there was not good, and then they were able to capitalize on it. So Zingy...
Actually, the crazy thing is, ThinkCard had the chance of actually ganking Sivir. They pinged out where his ward was, that he had put it down in the river brush, but Vi could have jumped over Dragon Wall, gotten behind Sivir unseen, and made a play for it.
Speaking of getting there unseen, both junglers.
Easy flash that puts the Q into Arc Second. Ignite is on him as well. ThinkCard really wants this fight, but now Zingy's got to be careful. Level 6 by Easy means first blood goes through to ThinkCard. In come the teleports, but very late.
Ooh.
And they get canceled.
He canceled it, and then the other top laner had to cancel his own, so big ol' Ron was already coming in, and Westrice wanted to answer but stopped it.
The thing is, those TPs were so late, there was no reason to even start yours at that point. No kill is going to happen. Kenny actually going to stop Arc Seconds back, meaning a whole buttload of golden XP lost by this Kassadin.
And damage on the turret.
Yeah, ThinkCard's just staying to shove wave after wave in. Even though he's sharing XP with Easy, kind of slowing down Lissandra's level ups, it is going to make sure a lot gets denied away from Kassadin.
In CLG Black, they had an advantage yesterday very early on. Ooh, snatches him out of the air.
What a good hook into play, but BigLaurent can land the stun, but Ignite comes in, forced to flash away.
So they get the flash for the Ignite, and now ThinkCard though.
Flash Q! Wow! ThinkCard predicts where he's going to be and gets it right.
Wow. Blowing his flash for that and going straight into him. ThinkCard is causing a lot of pressure on this map. He has all the kills. So.
And now what can Vi do with these kills? Because he's still not level 6 just yet, but he's scaling up quite nicely. He's got to be close at this point. And level 6 Vi ganks are plenty scary.
Yeah, and it's keeping a Zingy down as well. right? Zingy had to take a little bit of a slower route. He got killed in the mid lane, whereas ThinkCard was still making plays on the map.
Yeah. Really well done by him, and I actually like his choice of items here. He had initially bought double longsword, said, never mind, I want boots and a sight stone. So he's cashing in his gold lead into ward control, into just strangling TSM and saying, who's going to be darkness here?
Wow, that's pretty dark.
I mean, I guess they're really...
Good night.
I mean, how else are you going to counter darkness but by creating vision?
I guess, okay.
He's item building against the team name.
Okay.
It's a hard counter.
I thought it was like he's strangling them and all they're going to see is darkness.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow.
That's also a good one.
Oh.
ThinkCard is pretty goth.
His ThinkCard is like, good night, Zingy.
Oh my gosh.
Sleep well. As he closes his eyelids.
Darkness does help you sleep, so I mean...
I guess so. Maybe he's just turning off the light, giving him a kiss goodnight.
Sure, why not?
It just got really friendly up in this match.
He's not playing Ari. Or a Mumu. Mumu would be happy with that.
A Mumu would be really happy.
Just hugs. All right. Ward battle. Westrise wins it with a flamethrower. Somehow doesn't damage the brush. So flame retardant brush in League of Legends confirmed. Big ol' Ron about to pop the passive is level 6, but in one-on-one, not much to do.
It's like flammable and inflammable are the same thing.
True. What was that in reference to, by the way?
I was just thinking of the flame retardant brush.
Great. Thank you for the...
It's both inflammable and flammable.
No, it's non-flammable.
It's inflammable.
Nope.
Non-flammable.
There you go. Come on,
No.
Aiden.
Yeah, no.
Learn English.
But it should be flammable and inflammable.
Not necessarily.
Class.
Then certain skins would have like more power than others.
Oh, speaking of flammable. Boom.
6. No, not how that works. Ward, though, is Zingy. Ooh, he misses the Vault Breaker. Out goes ThinkCard.
You really rely on that upfront damage on
yeah,
buy.
you do. Especially when you max Vault Breaker. If you don't land that, your damage goes nowhere. Zingy is on top of a ward. He wants to pull this blue buff out, but he's got to get his mid laner over to this one. Problem is the pressure advantage is there for CLB. Exactly means they get to go in and push for this blue buff.
Yep, it's shoved top, it's shoved mid. They can't get this blue buff, and they have to hand it over. And that's what I said early on. They have both blue buff timers. So I wanted to see what ThinkCard does with it, and he presses that advantage immediately, and they set up for it. Because Zingy doesn't have CLB's blue buff timer. He left it up, and then it got cleared way later.
The problem is their dual lane's not really ahead either. I suppose it's a bit of a wash if you just wave clear over and over with Janna Saver. There's actually no way for Graves Thresh to stop that. And so if the timer were inferred in some way, TSD probably could make a play for it. Because their bot lane pressure advantage they could have, but not the case right now. Teaser level 8 indivisible, only level 5 here. And the bot lane will just hold pretty equal. Close in CS, very close in items as well. And ThinkCard wants to make a play.
Here's the thing, though, is this is that lane that you were talking about. It's very hard to gank.
Flash hook, Lantern comes in, immediate flash by Indivisible, but ThinkCard could, nope, cues the waves.
It's hard to gank that lane, but Indivisible doesn't have his ultimate just yet, and he wanted to capitalize on that, seeing that he wasn't 6.
Yeah, so flash for flash of the supports. That does show where ThinkCard is. He wants this blue buff here. Hold on. He's got to be careful because Arc second and Easy are getting into a bit of a battle, and Zingy's nearby. Hook's going to come out, does not quite land.
And the ward coverage coming down from that early sight stone from ThinkCard. Doesn't even have his Warrior's Enchant done, so his damage output is lower than his Zingy's, but he's still providing vision for his team, allowing them to get more objectives. As the shot caller, if you're the one setting up the vision, you know exactly where you want it.
Where you want to make the plays. So, we'll see if those plays end up getting made. Stick stays back, don't worry.
Ah, thank you for telling me that. I was really worried.
We do cast Challenger games slightly in the past, so these pauses for DCs often get scrubbed out before they actually get aired. CLG Black holding a 1,000 gold lead due to some very good ganks and counter ganks by ThinkCard. The lane's still holding pretty close to equal, though, where you're within 10 CS in every lane. I guess 11 mid right now, but that's essentially 10. And it's just a holding pattern here. CLG Black don't seem like they have the push lead either. But ThinkCard with the Sightstone still happy to look for wards. Problem is he's about to face check into Indivisible. This could be a numbers lead for TSM Darkness, but they don't go for the fight.
Nope, still afraid of that early lead on ThinkCard. He finally got himself some long swords. Still no warrior enchant. Has basically all the map tools that you would want as a jungler. He got the boots over his opponent.
Oh, looks to make the play. Ults and Indivisible. The hook is going to not land, though. Indivisible happy to get
stalling for Zingy.
Oh, wanted to ult to stop the lantern from happening. Clicked it too slowly. Pantheon didn't come in time. That's 2 ults down.
2 ults down right before the dragon is on the board. Those are 2 really big ultimates as well. But Thinkart doesn't have his big engage tool available, so they'd have to rely on easy in a fight. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon now. Kind of dissuades it.
They're going for ward control right now, though. CLG Black happy to play rather aggressive on this one. I want to see if they go for the dragon attempt based off of Big Ol' Ron getting tired. He's about to pop the passive. And after that happens, I want to see if they do force the double teleport and make Mininar not do much.
They're going for it right now. There is a ward in that pit, so they know what's going on.
This is a very large risk for CLG Black. They've recalled Westrice. He's going to be able to buy close to Haunting Guys, I think, or Sork Shoes, and maybe make his way down. Mega Gnar is up, and it's about to time out, so he's going to be without that for at least 20 seconds.
Here's the thing, is Westrice backed and purchased, so he is stronger right now, so if the TP fight happens in the next couple of seconds, he's going to get there first, and he's going to get there with more gold in combat stats.
But they're not looking to force the dragon. They send Westrice back to top lane not to run down towards drag. So he's going to hold the line here.
Doesn't punish Big Ol' Ron for that. Big Ol' Ron shoves the wave into the turret. Now he gets to back and get on Westrice's level and actually back with more gold to spend.
This is interesting. Big Ol' Ron going for a very damage-heavy build, though. He rushed Brutalizer first, actually bought a Doran's Blade just now, and Hextrigger to fight Westrice. Easy, though, going for the roam, but the Tri-Brush is warded. They see this coming, but it's still a 4-on-2.
This is 4 people in this bottom lane. Zingy doesn't have his Grand Skyfall available. They have to seed this turret.
Very nicely done. They had recalled their own dual lane 6A with Zerk Greaves and an extra pickaxe to his name. They will knock the turret down. They should clear this wave pretty safely. And that will create a bit of minion pressure that might require TSM Darkness to play defensively.
They're collapsing around this mid lane, though. Arcsecond has to shove this out. Westrice is just getting some deeper ward vision so they can keep eyes on a Zingy.
That's going to be a good thing, but of course Grand Skyfall can dodge most wards here. And once again, they try for this attempt. The dual lane is down in Tri-Brush, but isolated from the rest of the team. Cassid and Pantheon are on the other side, and that's going to be good smite in time. Boomerang Blade nearly stole it, but didn't. First Dragon goes to CLB pretty safely.
And they don't give anything up for it, right? Arcsecond immediately goes to try and shove middle, but he wasn't already doing that. So CLB Easy is already there.
Well, attempted fight by Big Ol' Ron, pops the ult, lands a fair bit of damage on a Westrice, but looks like he's not really going to gain more than just damage for it. But hey, that's not a bad thing. You're seeing his style, though. He really wants to bully the lane out, right? Pops the ult, pops his cooldowns just to deal damage. Knowing that Dragon's down, there's not much to team fight for, so you're seeing, again, why that was done as part of the trade. And building 3 attack damage items in his lane means he's going to have good burst when he does go for those fights.
Yep, once again, the blue is up. They have the timer for it on CLB. Zingy already smited this.
I don't know. It's a bit of a risk, though. They know that their Rumble is very low on health. That blue does go to Arcsecond. CLG Black, they do own the rotate back out. They can shove mid lane in, but without Rumble able to fight easily, they make the smart move and don't go in.
Zingy looking for a jump, going to the top lane.
Janna's up there as well. He's well behind Westrice. He's going to flash down towards the river, but he's right on top of Indivisible, which means here comes Pantheon, here comes Exhaust, and there's the kill picked up by Zingy. But mid lane got pushed that at that same time. They trade a kill for a turret.
Immediately a counter push coming in from CLG Black. Look at this. Janna looked like he wanted to back there, but instead he's going to ward this up, make sure that they can get some damage on this turret, but I don't even think they're going to get rewarded with this turret. They're going to get collapsed on before that.
They are, but the question is how can they survive this?
They have the ultimate still.
Is up.
Both
cards is too. This is pretty dangerous. They look for Big Ol' Ron. He's almost Mega Gnar, though. Can they lock him up enough, though? Looks like there was not enough damage thanks to Indivisible's ulti.
Oh,
the hook lands. He's Mega Gnar, though. Can he transform? Yes! Gets the stun. The box comes out, though, which means the damage is still going to be there. Easy gets the kill credit. CLG Black up 3-1.
And they're going to be able to apply some damage onto this top lane turret. It's already half HP. They're going to get another one.
Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Arcsecond is here. Not much wave crew. And actually, they do give him the respect of being a cast with the Rod of Ages under a turret. And it will not quite go down.
They don't go over greedy for the turret. Very, very low, though. But CLG Black, they're getting a lot for tiny trades. Like TSM Darkness are going for these like these plays that aren't working out for them, and CLG Black are punishing those. You go top, you get a kill, it's okay. We get a turret, you don't get a turret, and then we come in, collapse, and get a kill ourselves. Like, they're just getting the better end of all of these trades that are happening across the map.
And it looks like CLB are the ones dictating the pace. I expect their AD carry and support to go top lane after they had shoved out mid here. They've already taken down bottom outer turret. They've taken down mid outer turret. Now take your fed AD carry and put him to another outer turret to kill against especially a wave clueless Kassadin. Should be actually pretty easy pickings, and it's going to force a lot of reaction from TSM Darkness.
TSM Darkness don't have a whole lot of wave clear to deal with sieges. They have to put as many people up here as possible. It's a 4-on-4.
This is interesting. So Sivir holds mid. It's gonna require a reaction, or mid lane outer turret's gonna die to just Sivir. You're seeing CLB almost allocating too many resources. Lissandra probably should have stayed mid the whole time, and they should have kept the dedicated siege with the Graves. Mid lane, just the wave crashed into the turret for nothing. The siege doesn't do a lick of damage.
Westrice is trying to pull somebody bottom because he has his TP available, and that he can make a play when a fight does break out.
Right.
Because if Sivir had to rotate down bottom, it means that he can TP top for a 5-on-4. So now they have to recall Big Ol' Ron and send him to deal with that wave crashing against that turret.
Okay, so CLB finally getting a holding pattern, a 1-3-1 if you will, with the support and jungle roaming around the mid lane as Graves holds the line. Top lane finally did get pushed in by Easy. He was the guy that made that go down. Of course, it was a very injured turret, so 3-0 on turret score, 1-0 on Dragons.
They're looking for the pick here. They see that the red buff is up. They aren't going to get anything for it.
So roll top goes. They want this fight. Kenny and Stixxay got to be careful. Box comes down, but Kenny's got nowhere to go. He is well overextended and a good fight started. Now CLB though, maybe on the wrong side of this fight. A big burst comes out. They don't quite kill Teaser. Janna ult saves, but Azingi will go down thanks to Easy and Westrice. Stixxay now getting hit by a Big Ol' Ron. Indivisible still around in this one. Stixxay forced to flash out. ThinkCard goes down to Teaser, and this is now a pretty bloody fight as TSM Darkness pick up a whole bunch of cleans. 4-1 in that battle.
All of the kills falling over to ArcSecond as well. This Kassadin, he wasn't having the best early game. He was basically just sticking around being a Kassadin. And now, he's way off the ground.
Massive mispositioning by CLG Black. Their support got picked off, and they chose to fight the 4v5 anyway. And my God, did they get destroyed.
It was extremely split. You saw ThinkCard is sitting in this bottom brush, trying to look for a pick. Instead, 4 members collapse on 2 here, and then they run up with Big Ol' Ron behind them. They are pinched in here, and they have to make a play, and they go on Teaser. Teaser flashes, spell shields, and then he gets Janna ultied, and he gets the heal on himself. He's out of range. ThinkCard has to turn around, and he ends up hitting hitting Indivisible, and it's just
he could have gone for Teaser.
Rail-off fight there. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't go for Teaser to extend. He instead turns and tries to go back into the fight or to get out, and he just hits the Janna.
That was so weird though. Sivir had spell, shield, flash, and ult down. That was actually the kind of fight you want as Vi. ThinkCard chose an interesting target. So great pick by TSM though. Is Zingy getting hooked in? Not too much.
At that point though, it was really on the fact that they got collapsed on. Azingi went for the engage, and ThinkCard and Westrice were on a different page. They were camping a bush, trying to make a death brush, and then Zingi's a Pantheon out of nowhere makes an engage happen.
Now 1, 2, and 3 so far after a rough early game has done very good things later on.
And they're going for another death brush here from CLGB. ArcSecond already Riftwalk.
A lot of early damage. Actually kind of a miscommunicated engage, but they will jump in, and Teaser goes down first as Zingy follows a lot of kills right in a row thanks to Graves and Rumble. ArcSecond's got nowhere to go. He's going to try to run out, gets slowed. That's going to be 4 kills, I believe, so far this fight. Big Ol' Ron going to be the 4th death. Actually, I take that back as ArcSecond did get out. I don't know if you really even want to bother here, Westrice.
ArcSecond, he doesn't have a lot of options available. Kassadin's great journey.
How long is he going to survive?
He's probably going to get out. Nobody's really gunning for him.
Yeah, that TP was kind of strange.
Yeah.
But CLG Black, the Death Brush worked out. They baited the Dragon face check and got a 4 for 0 and the Dragon off of it.
That's when you get everybody on the same page of we're going to Death Brush, and watch Kenny's hook here onto Teaser makes this fight. Straight through, no spell shield up, pulled against the wall, and Teaser doesn't have anything to say about this. Immediately picked off, and everybody tries to collapse to help him on top of the Rumble ultimate. It's a really well-placed ultimate there by Westrice.
Yeah. And I gotta say, really happy and good things about Stixxay's positioning. The Death Brush happened, and he immediately dashed away. He's like, they're going to engage in this. I need to get out of range. And even though Azingi landed the stun, no one could follow up on him until 3 members were already dead.
Yep.
Very smart by Stixxay, knowing his positioning was important, even though he had to be part of the death rush in the first place.
Yep. Knew that he was priority target, that he had to get out of the way. But man, that hook from IKNU from inside the pit onto Teaser.
Yeah.
And the equalizer, really, was just a great setup there from CLG Black. TSM went in without the vision, and it cost them. Like you said, vision is extremely important in this game.
Great patience by CLG Black to make that happen. And now they sit on a 4,500 gold lead. ArcSecond slowly killing that blue buff. Took him a good ArcSecond to kill that.
Here's the thing, too, is they had no business checking those brush. They got overly confident because they won the previous fight. They could have shoved middle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they didn't have any business contesting the Dragon, then going over there. They could have just left CLGB. Even if they were going to go rotate and shove bottom, you have enough time because you don't have a tier 1 turret.
CLG Black, though, continuing to hold the vision game because of how well they're going with the double side stone. Re-engage happens, so Easy's got to be careful. Equalizer comes down, but doesn't do really enough. Westerice split off from the team, slowed down by Kassadin, and that is a kill for big ol' Ron. Graves nowhere to be seen in that fight, means nothing happens for CLG Black.
And I watched the game yesterday, and CLG Black had an early game lead, and the way that they started losing was desperation plays for Barons and things like that, and they were getting picked off by TSM Darkness. Azingi, he starts going for really weird fights. You start getting picked off in brush. It's kind of like a couple seasons ago when Fnatic was the only team that would sit in brush, and it was like, you have to play against this team to understand what they do. That seems to be what TSM Darkness pull out sometimes as well, is they're just, whoa, they're going to engage us here? That's really strange. Like, no other team would jump on a team that behind in a 5-on-5 straight up. They did see Stixxay down bottom, and they took the opportunity. So Azingi is always going to jump on those.
Thankfully for TSM, though, their ability to get that one pick turns into a lot more. They're going to get top outer turret for that one. Teaser getting a bit more split push farm himself, and he's trying to get a little bit more crit for himself. So TSM catching up a little bit here, down 3,000 gold.
And they have a lot of ways back in, too, right? Because they have ArcSecond as a Kassadin scaling extraordinarily well, and all of the gold is really allocated onto him. And they do have the Sivir, they have the Janna, they get to pick their fights.
It's a pretty well-rounded team composition. They have a dedicated support. They have enough damage on Sivir. She is going for that fan advancer, so she's actually going to do pretty decent single target damage as long as she's not overly threatened by Kassadin and Rumble. That's always the downfall of Sivir, is does she have the auto attack uptime? And if basically this Gnar and this Kassadin create enough pressure that she does, then Sivir gets to be a late game carry as Teaser is getting a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, he has the spell shield, right? The 2 dives on him from CLGB, Easy and Think Card, they're going to have to think about that spell shield while it's up. They can throw both on him. Teaser can only get one, but if they're both coordinated, they could be able to take him out.
And that's up to Janna.
Yep, exactly. You have to think about that Janna at the same time. They can disengage it. And it's just a really big boon for them. But look at this, CLGB going back to a Death Brush. Azingi's going to ward it.
Azingi wards
it's a party in there.
Easy wants a fight, but the Tornado by Indivisible stops them in their tracks.
The clown car bush.
Yep.
He's just like, hey, what's it? Whoa! 5 people fit in that thing.
Oh, more than 5 fit in that thing. Let's be real.
It gets really cozy very quickly.
It's fine. Cozy's nice.
Oh, speaking of cozy.
Wow, they reward the same place, and this time they get the catch. Azingi trying to live, but Avi ulti says no. Kenny somehow takes the kill credit. He's got 2 somehow.
Scene of the crime.
They just go back.
Back to the bush. You know you have the ward coverage. They're like, oh, they could be doing Baron right now. What's going on? Here's the thing. It's a 4-on-5.
Flash W, and then in comes the ult onto ArcSecond. He's got a Zonies, but he goes down too fast. Couldn't pop it in time. Out goes big ol' Ron and Teaser.
And back to the brush.
This time they
but through the brush.
Baron. Yeah, they get straight Baron here.
They're going to go straight for the Baron. Oh, wait. No.
Clear that. And they can get Scuttler. Now, they have complete darkness from TSM here. They're going to give up control and just go for the recall.
Here's the thing. They've scarred him enough. You don't want to face check into there. You want to clear this wave. Teaser might even just back off, but we'll see. He's going to risk it.
He expects that they recalled. He's right about this one.
Or they're doing Baron. One of the 2.
He saw Graves top.
Yeah.
That would be one of the sickest baits ever if you send your AD carry top lane and you slowly burn it down with Rumble Vi, but Now that I think he actually might lose to Baron because they're fairly low on health already.
It's true.
TSM Darkness, though, really quick to react to this and say, guys, let's check their blue, let's check everything else on the map we can. They all recalled, get what you can here. Oh, they managed to steal the blue.
Dragon in 10 seconds. It's the objective that's more readily available to these two teams.
Bot lane, big wave going to be cleared out by Arc second pretty cleanly, and he can easily rejoin his team, so it looks like Dragon will not create any immediate advantages in positioning. CLG Black, though, the first to the scene at this point, and they get pink ward control, and they actually start Dragon riskily.
Azingi.
He's ulting in.
Nope.
He can't.
He stopped it.
Rumble ulti used to zone them out, and the Dragon is picked up quickly by CLG Black. So I take back what I said about positioning. CLB not showing any hesitation. They grab it.
But it's only a 3K gold difference now between these teams. Despite all those picks, TSD don't let the lead get away from them, and they still hold it really close. It's just these Dragons, for the most part, that are separating these two teams.
Well, keep in mind, in 7 minutes, no, 12 minutes, Dragon 5 could happen. And that could make CLG Black have a really big lead that's hard to measure in just gold.
Yep.
TSM, though, for the first time, starting to get a couple of deep wards down. They finally took down 2 outer turrets here. And now they're starting to ward up the opposing red buff in that north jungle as a result. CLB forced to put very defensive wards into the Baron pit because of this.
CLB really just controlled this side of the map, and they have for the last 5 or 6 minutes. It's just TSD are putting a little more priority on the Dragon, but they're still not getting it.
Nothing quite gained by CLB anymore. Blue buff goes to Arc second. Both blues actually stolen by TSM Darkness. Good for them. Teaser holds 1. It's about the timeout, though. CLB back to the Death Brush strategy. They still own Baron Vision. They actually managed to sweep the Baron Vision out just in the last minute or so. I mean, and they now know it's Fog of War.
That pink ward in that brush has done worlds for them. It's gotten them about 1,000 gold off of kills and assists and just killing other wards. That is a very worth ward at that point. And I mean, it worked for him, right? If you get the Death Brush, keep doing the Death Brush. The other team's going to keep falling for it.
Teaser, though, is showing top lane. Maybe in time to defend this turret. It's going to be close. Stixxay with the red elixir just pushing for this. Janna Shield comes in, and the TP for Big Ol' Ron wants to guarantee this turret does not go down. And it does not quite land the hook. But again, ward control completely taken in this western jungle. They can grab Scuttle Crab. They can clear that ward that just got put down and those brushes as well. CLB looking for a death cliff this time around. But I want to see that ward right there does see that they did this. CLG Black actually, I believe, ran out of Sightstone wards. Oh, I guess they just, yeah, they don't have wards to see over the wall anymore, so they don't know exactly what is up. Easy jumps over. Can't find Indivisible.
CLG Black control all this vision, and they're looking for those picks. It's worked a couple times. They want to get more of the same. Because it's, once again, now only a 2K gold difference between these two teams.
But keep in mind that the decision-making is so much easier for CLG Black because of the vision. Yep. At some point, TSM Darkness are likely to misstep. Thresh and Lissandra play zoning duty to keep the team away. Baron is a very real objective for CLG Black right now, and in fact, going to come back in, down to about 3,000 health. This will not be contested because how many times could TSM Darkness really guess correctly? There it is, picked up. Now will they engage? Pantheon wants in, and they're going to go for this fight against the all the ultis. The Rumble ulti in as well. A lot of burst. Westrise goes down, but Azingi trades his life. Kenny on the side getting hit by Teaser, but a wall will stop him for a short time. Stixxay forced to jump out 1-for-1 this fight so far, but can they really disengage? Big Ol' Ron is almost Big Ol' Gnar. They're going to jump in, forcing the flash hook on Arc second. Don't re-engage those CLG Black. You've got to be afraid for the counter-engage damage. And it's going to be just a trade of ultis. 1-for-1 plus Baron.
That Westrise didn't even get to use his Zhonya's Hourglass. He just got popped by the return of the Boomerang Blade. They did get the Baron for themselves and jumped up another 1,000 gold for CLGB. But you have to think about what is TSD going to get off of this.
Well, empowered recall means not much. Teaser is overextended, gets ult, gets Lissandra's really misplayed there by Teaser, but gets some counter engage damage. They might get Think Card. It's close. The hook doesn't quite land, but here's the teleport from Westrise. Teaser will die. Arc second. He's in a bad spot. His Zhonya's is down, but he can Rift Walk away. Now Indivisible is the target. The flash in by Westrise. Who can they slow? It's going to be more flashes out by TSD. They will only gain the 1 kill, but it's now CLB with map control.
Yep, exactly. They get to press up this mid lane, and they have the Baron buff to tank this turret. Stixxay is going to just shred this very quickly, and they might even get 2.
They do not have vibes, so it is a 4-on-4 in the map. ArcSecond heals pretty quickly with home guard boots. And he's going to make his way back towards the mid lane. How much will CLG Black gain? Looks like it might be the entire turret. They don't feel like they are overstaying. Baron buff minions are nice and strong. Azingi has ulti in about 3 seconds. Can they re-engage in time? Big ol' Ron still has ulti. There's the Rumble Equalizer. Easy still alive in the back lines. They re-engage toward Azingi. A lot of damage to the Pantheon. He's going to go down. Now Big ol' Ron hit up, runs away. Inhibitor picked up. CLB getting another pick.
Kenny's having really good hooks this game. All these team fights, a lot of the picks are happening off of Kenny landing those hooks. So really good job by him this game on that support role.
Support role, he's got the most kills in his team.
Yeah, not
he's carrying.
at all.
Typical top laner. All the kills.
Stealing all the kills.
Darn right. Highest kill participation as well. Tied with the top laner and the jungler of his same team. CLG Black looking much better than they were yesterday. Keeping the objective control pretty tight. The Baron play was definitely quite slick. They just kept playing Fog of War until they finally forced a misstep by TSM Darkness. You can't guess right forever. They managed to escape the counter engage. When they got jumped on by Sivir Pantheon, I was pretty afraid for CLG Black, but they got in a 1-for-1.
I like their pick ban strategy too, going back to it for CLG Black. They ended up banning 2 junglers, Jarvan and Fiddlesticks, and then picking Vi, what they saw Zingy on yesterday, and leaving the Pantheon open. Weren't afraid of it. You can see why. This is very reminiscent of the Pantheon that he showed us previously when he was in Challenger.
Yeah. Death Cliff by CLG Black. I dare you to get a ward onto Dragon. They know it's all been swept out, and they have these 2 green wards to make sure they're not getting jumped on. They can get the picks. No attempt by TSM Darkness. It means Dragon number 4 for CLG Black.
It's a great way to play the pick comp. 40 minutes would be the threat of the 5th Dragon. ArcSecond's bottom. They see the sweepers coming out though.
It's Kassadin, out he goes. But now this jungle is controlled. This bot lane tier 2. Likely to be an easy target for CLGB, though the rest of TSM are around to defend. But still a lot of work being done by Stixxay here.
They just shove them off the turret. And yeah, Stixxay doing a ton of damage to these turrets. Teaser is not part of these fights. He's shoving waves. He has to shove that mid wave up because of the fact of the super minions. So he can't, I mean, it's really great by CLG Black to know where they can press their advantages and when to bait. Yeah, they're playing really good pick.
Once they got the lead, CLG Black largely played well. Once they kind of like fell into the pattern they needed to do. The vision control was largely uncontested. They got to keep Baron control the entire game. It never fell away from them. And then just over and over and over and over again, just played Death Cliff or Death Brush until they got the objectives they desired. When they didn't have that gigantic lead, though, when they were only like 2,000-3,000 gold up early game, it was a bit more wishy-washy. Even though they had early sight stood, even though they should have had the wards, they still got picked on a couple times by TSM Darkness. The first 15 to 20 minutes, I think, still needs to be shored up by CLG Black, but the rest of this game has been really clean.
Nope. Try and think card in the brush, but they're doing, like you said, a really good job of controlling the vision. Back to top lane here. They have the mid lane shoving. The CLG Black, if they're looking for picks in these spots, I don't think TSM Darkness are actually going to shove up that far for a while. Oh man, they're going to go.
ArcSecond takes a bit of damage, pops the Zhonya's out, goes Stixxay. They will be okay against the Zingy ulti, but Easy's got to be a bit careful. Stunned against the wall, no follow-up damage, pops the Zhonya's and stays alive. 2 kills, 3 kills in a row for Westrise, and now comes the engage. Indivisible, about to be divided. Stixxay can't quite catch him up though, and out goes the rest of TSM Darkness. But by the way, mid lane inhibitor is dead, and the team runs for it now, using their power of champions to push down maybe for the Nexus.
They already have those 2nd Dragon working in their favor. They can go for these turrets. They still have Stixxay.
Oh yeah. 15 seconds for 3 death timers here. Turret number 2 under fire, 10 seconds on Ozingi. I don't think it's going to be enough. Nexus now available, and this could be GG. CLG Black will tie up the series, and they're going to end the first week at 1-1.
So CLG Black actually showing really good signs of coordination once they got the lead. Yesterday, they were picked off constantly, and instead they turned it around and said, you know what, we're going to play together as a unit, make sure we have no stragglers, so we can never be picked off.
Yeah,
that was really good by them. Good adaptation. They got the early game lead off of really crisp plays, And then from there, like you said, when they're ahead, they didn't play poorly at all.
No.
They just closed it out pretty methodically.
And they kept their side lanes in good repair, too. Whenever you're playing, like, play the Death Brush, one of your big Achilles heels is going to be a good split pusher. We actually saw Big ol' Ron off on the side. He built for the lane. Brutalizer, Hex Drinker, Doran's Blade really wanted to bully Rumble and survive his damage output. And we saw him split pushing a fair bit. We saw 196 CS. Actually ended up being on the lower side because he was forced to react to his team so darn much. But CLG Black played around the Gnar split push. They played around the Caston split push largely very well and didn't let those turn into much. I believe they never lost more than 3 turrets that game, and really kept themselves in the running the entire time, where they never got split apart. They were always allowed to play the vision game and always allowed to threaten objectives.
Yeah, the threatening of objectives was really big by CLG Black. They just pushed down waves. TSM Darkness would kind of get signs like, we're going to get this turret, but then CLG Black would be like, nope, you can't get it, and shove them all the way down the wave and get their own.
Yeah.
So they were making trades, but they were always just a step ahead in CLG Black, and they'd get more for what they did.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to go back and watch the last third of that game, because it seemed like TSM Darkness was never able to be like, hey, our 5-0 Cassidon, go push a wave up. You should be able to survive any counter engage. But the vision control never seemed to be there for TSM Darkness to make that safe, to allow them to pressure those points with the advantaged members. And it just let CLG Black play their own game without resistance. I want to see how these guys managed to do that.
A lot of it was the pink ward coverage and the fact that they were sweeping the right places. They decided to dedicate all their vision to the Baron side of the map and just said, we're powerful enough to barrel down inside of Dragon, that ward Baron, sit in Dragon, and that's how you play that, is you just use your bodies as wards, kind of, because you're more powerful. You just sit in Dragon. If they come, you're okay. Yeah. You can engage that fight. If they come to Baron and you want to bait there because Dragon isn't up, you have all the ward coverage already. You have all the pinks allocated to deny the vision, so you know that they can't see you. That's what they were doing with the vision control, was pink ward contribution from the team was very high, and they were placing them in good spots, like further back in the bush, so it's not able to be cleared.
Yeah.
And using the denial that way. So I thought that was really brilliant by CLG Black to make that adaptation.
Well, good job by them. CLG Black are going to tie up that series. They are 1-1. So now our final games of Week 1 are in the books. Let's take a look at the Challenger standings overall. Enemy Esports are in sole possession of first place right now at 2-0. After that, CLG Black, Final 5, Team Fusion, and TSM Darkness are all tied at second with 1 win and 1 loss. Meanwhile, unfortunately, TDK are in last alone at 0-2, but every team plays 2 more games next week. 8 matches overall, 8 games total for each team still to play this season, so these standings can, of course, move around.
It's just like the Week 1 of LCS.
Yeah.
One team 2-0, one team 0-2, everybody else in the middle. Yeah,
a lot of that.
I know, right? Yeah, the season continues next week when TDK goes up against TSM Darkness. Then Enemy Esports face off with Team Fusion. And we'll wrap things up with Final 5 against CLG Black. It all starts next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
But you will not have to wait that long for more competitive League of Legends, because tomorrow, or if you're in Europe tonight, more or less, the European LCS gets into gear with Rocket against the Copenhagen Wolves. Then it's Elements versus Giants Gaming, and Fnatic going head-to-head with SK Gaming. That broadcast begins 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central European Time. So that's going to be all from us here today at the Challenger Desk. We'd like to say thanks again to our guest, Nian Tanso, for the interview. Good luck to you guys next week, of course. And on behalf of myself, Zyrene, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching. GG.
See ya.
I added a flourish there.